Okay, welcome to my debate, and here's my thoughts on AEW and how you can fix the women's division. Let's make this straight, guys. Currently, out of the three companies we know, Impact Wrestling, WWE, and AEW, the one that has the most interesting things going on is Impact Wrestling for the women. Remember, Tessa Blanchard is the current champion, even though the pandemic has messed that up. She's the current champion. Jordan Grace is the women's champion. They got a lot of good women on the show. But if you're going to be honest, which company has the best women's division? A lot of people say NXT. But what's going on with NXT and its roster next to it, which is SmackDown and Raw, NXT isn't that good. I've said this many months ago when they moved NXT to USA Network. Once Vince gets his claws into NXT, he is going to destroy it. Flat out. He's going to destroy NXT eventually. The way he's going to force Triple H to book it. And I've already heard more than a few people that said NXT doesn't feel right. It just doesn't. A lot of decisions not made very well. So this is how it's going to be. So my feeling, what is the next? Well, currently it's Impact. But what is the next company with the second best women's division? It's going to have to be AEW. If WWE is not doing it right. But how can AEW do that? This is what I've been thinking. AEW has one major problem right now. A real major problem. They just don't know how to budget their time and sponsor their women. The way they've been budgeting their time due to the fact they got to do a lot of commercials to pay for the bills. They just don't give the women the proper time they need. Yeah, they're doing something with Britt Baker and Rebel, that gorgeous woman. Yeah. They did something a little bit with Nia Rose. Yeah. They did a little tiny bit with Statlander. Yeah. But when it comes to the women Japanese wrestlers, zero. Zero they do with the women. Ryo, they did nothing with. Shida, they done nothing with. Ida, I believe her name was Ida. I can't remember her name right now. There was someone who liked Joey Mercury stuff. Since I've been seeing Dart, I don't know how many women Japanese wrestlers they have. So I'm not sure how many are still left. The women's wrestlers are not being promoted properly, and it's garbage. This is how I believe Kenny Omega should do it. And if anybody sees this and say, hey Kenny, could you look at this video? This guy has a good idea how you can promote the women. And if Kenny does see this, Mr. Omega, how you doing, dude? I respect you. But I'm not going to lie about this, man. Honestly, you need to reevaluate how you do your women's division. This is what I believe could help. 1. You do not promote Dark as a basic brand. And I do believe the best option, if you got a lot that's going on, like when it comes to the current TNT title, and if you make another title to go with the TNT title, like a low, medium, and then the World Championship to make it mean something, I'm not saying you will, you need to do it like this. Sponsor Dark as a separate brand of AEW, like SmackDown and Raw, like Explosion and Impact Wrestling. They have it. This is how you do it. In your segments of your show, when it comes to JR Excalibur and Tony Schiavone, they are allowed to talk about what's going on Dark. You show at least 10 to 20 seconds of a snippet of a storyline that's going on Dark. And then you leave it on Dynamite that way. Spread it out. If you got to do a 2-minute snippet from Dark, you break it up during the time of the show and let people see it. Also, if you're going to do another title for the people, and if you want the women's division to be really sponsored, you must show the snippets of the women's division. And if the TNT title is going to be, or the world title for that matter, is going to be on Dark, you must show it on the show and let Schiavone, Excalibur, and JR talk about it briefly. Do not do it after the show. Do not do it before the show. You got people that are showing up to your show that are not just hardcore fans. Do not make that same mistake that Paul Heyman made, that Eric Bischoff made. They did not 100% cater to casuals. They catered a lot of time to shock and awe or the hardcore fans. They did the shock and awe stuff. They did the hardcore fan stuff. They don't always do the casual. That's the reason why WWE did an incredible job during the 80s and the 90s. They didn't just cater to fans who love wrestling. They catered to people who didn't love wrestling. They gave them variety. But you need to remember to sponsor it properly. You need to show Dark more often. You need to talk about Dark and what's going on in any type of storyline, even if it takes 10 to 20 seconds to talk about it. To do a video package from someone from Dark, you need to show a video package that came from Dark. Put a little header on there saying AEW Dark. And sponsor Nia Rose. Sponsor Britt Baker. Rebel, the former Rebel. Her, the woman who's working with Britt Baker, you need to also make sure she is sponsored on Dark. Show some video packages on Dark. If you haven't already been doing it, I'm probably sure you do. But you need to show it on Dynamite. And then to make this special, guess what? Have Dynamite and Dark share a pay-per-view. Have Dynamite do the majority of the show, but have 1 or 2 matches that involve Dark. State that this is from AEW Dark. You want to watch it? Watch it on our YouTube channel. We talk about it every week on Dynamite. That is how you get casual fans to look at Dynamite and Dark. You give them variety and you show them why you should care about Dynamite. If you give women on Dynamite, you got to give them a reason why to care about the women on Dynamite. Just giving them matches is not enough. If you're going to have the women have feuds on Dark, you got to make sure the women's feuds are seen on Dark. If the TNT title becomes relegated to Dark, then you have to make sure the storylines for Dark are shown on Dynamite. And if you need to, vice versa. But very briefly, never show too much of Dynamite on Dark. Very little. Make sure Dark is its own entity. And don't overwhelm it like they did with SmackDown dealing with Raw. Raw barely talked about SmackDown. They did a few snippets of it. But then you got way more of Raw on SmackDown. Do not do that. Make sure that you set up Dark as its own brand entity. 2, if there are already storylines going on, video packages going on, any segments in the ring are going on, snip them. If it's going to be 2 minutes of something, take 2 minutes of anybody, cut it down to about 10 to 20 seconds and show the best parts of it and let Shivani, let Excalibur, and let easily JR, who's supposed to be the most important person on your commentary team, talk about it. If you don't do that, you're never going to get anywhere with your women's division. What you're doing now is good when it comes to Britt Baker. When it comes to Statlander, people care about her, but they don't know who Sheeta is. Sheeta has done almost no story. You only saw her once in the current pay-per-view. But even if she talks on Dark, in English, for that matter, English, she speaks freaking English. Show it. Show a snippet of 5 or 10 seconds of her talking, or getting attacked, or something. And then, when their storylines are ready, you throw them on to a pay-per-view, not just a Dynamite show. Set it up for a pay-per-view. Make sure people on Dynamite who watch Dynamite know that there's something going on in Dark and they should watch it. Make them understand that Dark means something. Show them video packages of it. If you can't show video, do audio of it. It doesn't make a difference. Show them. And if they understand that AEW has a large umbrella that encompasses not just regular TNT TV, but also YouTube, casual viewers will go there as well and get caught up in what's going on. Don't tell casual viewers, do your research, go on the internet. It does not help them. It makes them feel dumb. Being told, oh, I gotta go and do this? Why don't you show me on the show? That is how you make sure you don't basically not only segregate your fan base, but make them feel disenfranchised. Think about it. This is what I'm thinking, guys. You guys tell me below if I have a good idea or not. And also tell me, do you want me to bring back Booking the Wrestler, but for women's wrestling only. I normally don't do that. I do men and women. And I admit, I haven't done it in maybe 3 years. Brittany Johnson. Someone that I did a Brooklyn wrestler for. If she's here, Britt, how you doing? I'm sorry I'm calling you Britt, but Brittany. But I have forgotten I had done it in so long. It's been 3 years since I last did that, booking the wrestler. So if you guys want me to do it, tell me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.